Welcome to our online summit. My name is Marianne Karengise, and I'm very glad to have a famous colleague here today to talk to. Thank you very much for giving us an interview, Rajan. And may I ask you to introduce you to our listeners?
Well, I am a homeopathic practitioner. I have been practicing in Mumbai, India since about 40 years now. And I have been teaching in many places in the world. And I have been also the author of several books in homeopathy. And right now I'm also engaged in, heading a academy which imparts homeopathic teaching and training to a large number of people. It is called The Other Song, and it is also located in Mumbai.
Great. I didn't know that you were heading for that project. It's great. You know, nowadays we have a big problem on this planet, the so-called corona pandemic. Could you please state your point of view on that?
Well, I would say that I am as much in the dark as anybody, and there is so many, points of view and opinions and, so many approaches also. So it's rather quite a confusing scenario at the moment. And what can I say? I can only state my own experience that, well, there is a lot of fear, a lot of panic, and it's a very unique situation because, I'm 60 years old now. I haven't seen anything like this before, where the entire world is almost in a lockdown, and we have come to a pause. We have come to a stop for the last few weeks now, and confined into our homes, and it's never before like this. So it's a very unique situation where almost everything that we know is different. It's almost like a kind of a change or instability or something like this, you can say. There's a change of scenario, and for me personally, it gives a great opportunity also to pause and to reflect and to see what's happening. So it's been a good time for me, I would say, and I can only empathize with people who are suffering and who are many people died, I believe, and so many people lost their jobs and the economic slowdown, and I mean everything is really in a different situation. But I think that people who could manage to do this also took this time for themselves, and to pause and think, where are we going and where do we need to go also, and to re-look at our own values and our priorities, and things like that. So many things are happening on so many fronts, on the medical front, economic front, on the human front, on the spiritual front, and also we are discovering new ways of communication. Suddenly, I mean, my clinic is online all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So we have to adapt to this kind of communication, which I was not used to, honestly, before. I didn't like to see people online, but now meetings are online, and there is also, you see, I did a lot of webinars in this time, for free, and we did webinars on homeopathy, on meditation, on music, on how to, use this time in a productive and in a constructive way. So we did many seminars, and also these seminars, they brought the community together.
Mm-hmm.
I had sometimes upwards of 3,000 people in each of these webinars, and it was like a family. And we were communicating. All the barriers, the global barriers were down. We had people from every country in the world participating in these webinars. And so there was a feeling of family, of unity also. Because right from, the Prime Minister of Great Britain and the Prince Charles, right down to the, worker on the street, the virus somehow did not see the difference, who it was entering and what it was doing. So it was also a great equalizer which brought humanity together in some sense. So there are definitely, aspects of it which are quite painful. And then there are, out of this pain, out of this confinement, out of this dislocation of our life, it also gave us the opportunities to create, new meanings and new forms of communication and a new unity with the planet. So I think it has been a very important time for all of us, and nobody will forget this for a long time, I can tell you this.
Oh, this is a historical moment,
Yes.
definitely. Absolute historical moment. And I agree, it is a phenomenon that the governments go for separation and somehow people unite. They just find other ways to come together. And yes, I'm talking much more with my colleagues all over the world now than I ever did before because it hasn't been necessary.
Yes.
And we're finding together. And one phenomenon I see myself is the barriers and the hierarchical barriers are breaking down. It all gets more equal, more flat.
Yes, and also you see, it has been a time also where nature could, get a chance to breathe and to rejuvenate in some sense. Pollution levels must have gone down drastically.
Mm-hmm.
And in Mumbai, you see, dolphins can be seen on the seas, I mean, peacocks are out there in the streets. And it's so amazing that we are giving nature also a time to breathe, and realizing the beauty of this. My only anxiety or concern is that we should not forget this once the thing is past us and go back to our old habits. This is what is my anxiety or my concern. I hope that we will learn this lesson and continue to, unite, continue to have empathy, continue to, respect nature, and all of this, look into our own selves to reflect. All of this should continue from this time.
Do you think that there's a possibility to go back to the old normal?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes,
Oh, yes.
oh yes. Human beings are human beings, and their memory is very short,
Mm-hmm.
and they forget very quickly, and old habits just get back, very quickly, very quickly.
To say for nature to be on a safe side, how long do you think the lockdown must last so that human beings have to go to another side, have to rethink themselves?
Well, I do believe in a phenomena which I would loosely call as, a kind of universal consciousness. I do believe that, all our collective consciousness is somehow linked together. And just like, they talk of herd immunity for coronavirus, if more than 50% people have the infection, the rest of us are immune also. So I think the same principle applies for a change in consciousness. When there is a certain critical number of people whose thinking can change at this time, then there can be a much bigger change in the universe also. So each of us, Gandhi, who is one of my, ideals, he said something. He said, be the change that you want to see happen. And so I think each of us can only take responsibility for our own change. And we should work on ourselves, not expect anything from anybody else, and be the change that we want to see. And if a critical number of people do that, and a change results, then there is definitely hope for us. So instead of even hoping for the rest of us to change, I think we should start with ourselves. So this is the guiding principle in my life.
Yes, taking up self-responsibility and be the best version of yourself as you can be. This is what my parents told me too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend to people how to use this special time? How to make the best use of it?
Well, I would say as follows. I would say as follows, that each one needs to define his goal or his purpose in life. And one should really know what that purpose is. And usually, you see, when we talk about non-human things, for example, a coconut tree or a river or a cloud or a mountain, you see their purpose is defined. A coconut tree will give coconuts, or a river will give water, a cloud will give rain, a mountain will act as a, whatever it acts as, So in this way, also each of us has a reason to be, a purpose much bigger than ourselves. We are in some way, a thread in the fabric of creation. Yeah. So if we can identify that, what is our purpose, which is in some sense much above our own needs, much above our own, ego needs, you can say also. And if we can find that purpose in some sense or define it, then we must use this time to further our skill and our capability to fulfill that purpose. So we have to look after ourselves in many ways. I think physically, it's very useful time to take care of our diet, for example. I mean, you're sitting at home, you don't have temptations, you don't go to restaurants, you don't, so it's a good time. You can do, vegan diet, for example. This is a very good time to do that, or intermittent fasting, for example, or, eat minimally. I discovered for myself that I need only 1/4 of the food that I used to eat. And I'm happy with that, you see. I have my lunch at about 10:30 in the morning, and my dinner, which is a salad and some soup, at 6 o'clock, and that's about it. And I don't need anything. You see, we need so little. Can we discover that in this time? You see, in the busy life, there's no time to discover these things about ourselves. and to discover what is the right food for us. I'm not saying that vegan is the food for everyone, but yes, you try it. It may suit you. It suits me very good. And then exercise, and then meditation, and then music. So these are the things you can do for your body, your mind, and your soul. And then when you discover your purpose also, you have so many ways to enhance your skills to do that. You can read, you can study, you can work, you can go on the internet. There are so many videos and webinars and so many things happening. Find what you want to develop into, and work towards that. It could be anything. And the opposite of that, of course, is to spend time on entertainment, is to spend time in getting WhatsApp messages and forwarding it to somebody else, and go on the Facebook and do all kinds of things, and watch, talk about corona, where, what's happening, is it going, is it coming, is it good, is it bad, is it in Italy, is it in China, is it here, there. This kind of theory, who did the Chinese make the virus, did they not make the virus, did the Americans do it, did the whoever, I mean, and when is it going to end? So why when something is not in our control, you see, why bother?
Yeah.
Okay, you can have your opinion, you can have your, views, you can be socially conscious, but not waste time in this thing. If you have to support a cause, go for it. So, but not just bother and bother. So instead of that, reorient. And it's a great time to rejuvenate. It's a great time to realign, and to also realize, in some sense, the impermanence of everything, you see. Yeah. Suddenly your life can disappear. I mean, forget everything else, your life can disappear. Suddenly your money can disappear. Suddenly your freedom can disappear. Suddenly your contacts can disappear. So in that kind of situation, it's a great moment to realize the impermanence of all phenomena and to focus on what cannot disappear. And that what cannot disappear is so simple. It's the simple sense of being or consciousness or existence, and say, I am. And can we find the beauty and the peace of that discovery? It's so amazing. And when you discover that, you see your need and attachment to so many things dilutes. It doesn't disappear, but at least you are in a much, much more stable place than before. So these are so many opportunities. So I suggest you go. There are so many videos on the YouTube. You look for them, these spiritual talks, these meditation talks. Look for them. Look for music. Look for, workouts. Look for diets. Keep your body, mind, and soul in a good place. Find your purpose and develop your skills. And your time will pass in the most beautiful way.
So, to summarize it, it's about the beauty of simplicity. It's about the purpose of life. And it's about digging deeper in what we really are.
Well, it's also a kind of realization that what we are prioritizing is not giving us happiness somehow. We say, money, we say pleasure, we say cars, we say, restaurants, we say travel, we say all of this, even relationships. None of this gives us a lasting peace. Still we are looking, still we are searching, still we are unhappy, still things come and things go, and then we are left in the same position. So it's a process of, realizing this, and by realizing, also in a sense, not getting too attached to it and going somewhere to a place which cannot go and which doesn't come also. And
yes, it doesn't come, it doesn't go. Yeah.
it doesn't come, it doesn't go. It is. It just is. This is a very good time to discover that place, actually.
I think so too. Listening to you and your voice, it makes it quite clear that the time we have is a gift.
The time we have?
The time we have now, the crisis we have now, is some kind of a gift.
Well, any situation, any situation in life, and especially the more painful ones, are always the greatest opportunity for change. Pleasure never gives us the opportunity to change because we are so happy and it's nice and we are happy. But when it goes, then so much grief. So when things are taken away from us, then there is a very good time to reflect on the changing nature of things. And then to take a distance, like, there's a lot of traffic. This all the time in our mind, this traffic is going on. Instead of indulging or involving or attaching to that, if we can just take a little distance and to watch this coming and going of things in our own mind, in our own thoughts, and then after some time, there is already some peace and some calm.
I realized that when I had a heart attack, aged 35, and I had to quit my veterinary office, that was a great opportunity to learn about meditation and to learn about the, let's say, more interesting things of life. I like your sense of humor. It gives relief.
Humor is also a kind of, a reflection somehow. Looking at something in a funny way is to become more aware of it also. Humor is very reflective if we see what it is actually.
You were talking about the purpose of life. I had it quite hard to find my purpose of life.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to be 55 to finally reach it, somehow reach it where it could be. What do you recommend what kind of practice to find the purpose of life maybe a bit earlier?
Well, the purpose of our life is already clear inside us. Mm-hmm. It's there already, and we all, at a deep level, we know it. But what covers it is, our kind of insecurities, our, fears, our patterns of perception and reaction, our feelings of inadequacies, our ego needs to, be big or compete or make more money, and, all that kind of insecurity that it wheels or it kind of covers up who we really are, what our real potential is, what our skill set is. And then we do all kinds of, when we don't know that, we go in all different places and do all things that are totally unsatisfactory.
Yes.
But at a deep level, when you are aligned with your purpose, there is a deep sense of, one would say, coming home or belonging, and a certain kind of joy that is experienced in doing that. you feel, yes, this is what I'm meant to be. And it's not coming from, I need it, I don't need it, I want it, I don't want it, I like it, I don't like it, I must have it, oh my God, he's going ahead of me. These things, ultimately, we do these things also, but it's not satisfying. And at a deep level, when you do what your purpose is, you feel, I have arrived. This is where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I have to do. This is what gives me the greatest joy. It doesn't add to me, or it doesn't give me, things what I need, but it makes me feel that I am where I belong. And this is already inside you, but it's so covered up usually that we don't see it. When we remove all these things, and for that you need a process of spiritual alignment. What is spiritual alignment? It is distancing from the false and the impermanent and coming back to your true self, which is peace and consciousness. When you do that and the mind quietens, then your needs become less and you become aligned to what you really were meant to do. And it's more a process of letting go rather than a process of getting somewhere.
This I realized in myself when I finally came to Greece, where I'm living now, and had the possibility to see the sunset over the sea each evening. I suddenly realized I'm home. I have a lot of difficulty in speaking the language and adapting to the lifestyle here. But in my heart, this is home.
Mm-hmm. In the same way, when you say this is my home in terms of a location, also you will find a home in terms of your work or your purpose also. You say, this is home, this is where I want to be. I may not get money here, or I may not compete, or I may not be the biggest, or I don't have 10 cars, but I'm happy here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy doing this.
Yes, and this is what it is all about. I understand. And you did find your purpose in life in homeopathy or in educating people?
Well, for me, you see, homeopathy is not a work or a system of medicine alone. It is a whole philosophy and a way of living. And what it is like when we take a case in a homeopathic way, we do not try to get information, but we try to go deeper into each person with himself, So we ask, how do you feel? How do you experience? How do you perceive this? Okay, you had a fight with somebody. What was your experience in that fight? We don't ask, why did you fight? Or, you shouldn't be fighting, all of that thing. But an awareness of, what exactly is going on inside you. This is what we go with the patient into. This is the homeopathic case taking that we do actually. So if somebody says, I had a dream of a snake, for example, we don't ask, let us interpret dream of snake must have to do with, fear or sexuality or jealousy, or we don't say this. We say, okay, can you stay with this dream and tell us exactly what you saw, what was happening, and what was your experience in that situation? So we take the person deeper and deeper into himself, and we accompany the person in that journey. So for me, the whole philosophy of homeopathy is the philosophy of awareness. It's not the philosophy of causality. It's not why you are angry, but what is the experience of anger. Because the moment you say why you are angry, you have a cause-effect relationship which doesn't make any sense. It's just a theory. Oh, I'm angry because he didn't do that. Okay, that was only the excuse. The real thing is that your perception is what created the anger. What is that perception from which the anger arose? How did you view this person not doing that thing? How was your perception of that? What was your experience of that deep within your own organism, not only in the mind? So this awareness that goes deeper and deeper is how we take the case, how we select the remedy, how we understand the remedy, how we match the remedy, etc., etc. And this kind of philosophy for me is the philosophy of life, because in life, all that I do is just observe myself all the time. And this also you can call it as meditation. In some sense, you can call it music. In some sense, you can call it art, because art is also basically just reflecting what is inside, right? So every form of human activity for me is the same thing. So I don't classify myself as homeopath, but I say I am an observer of phenomena, an observer of things. And this is my main purpose, actually. This is what I love to do. This is where I feel at home with. All the time watching myself, watching others, helping them to watch themselves. And then in that process, sometimes healing happens even without giving a remedy.
Yes.
Yes. Healing can happen by just the process of awareness. And then, of course, we give the remedies also matching what we see, and then deep healing can happen. So to do that, and I also do a lot with music, and I believe music has the same effect. It can heal also. So what we are doing is we are actually taking the Indian classical music, the different melodies, which are called ragas, and we take each raga, which is a melody, and we try to understand and perceive its effect on healthy volunteers. Every day I do that. In fact, the last 3 weeks, that's what I've been doing. Every day I do a webinar and I sing a different melody. And then there are 30 people who write down exactly how they experience it. And we are going to use this picture to match with who exactly will benefit from that particular melody or raga. So we'll create a healing system with ragas, for example. So for me, homeopathy is a very broad principle of life. For me, movies is homeopathy also. Humor is homeopathy also. Novels is homeopathy also. And of course, in homeopathy, we use remedies from, the minerals and the plants and the animals. So we study a lot of biology, zoology and botany, and, all of these, the periodic table of elements. And so it's an amazing, amazing profession, which I'm so happy that I'm doing. And it's my love. It's not only my profession, it's who I am. And I think I'm an observer all the time, whether I'm in my clinic or not.
I begin to understand. So it's about discovering the universe in a person, the universe that person is meant to be, at the same time knowing about the universe of a plant, the universe of an animal remedy. And
Yes.
if you find the perfect match, that really helps.
Yes. That helps to heal that pattern within each person. Each person inside has a pattern of a particular mineral, animal, or a plant. And when we go deep into a person's experience, for example, when somebody says, I got very disappointed in love. We say, what is the experience of this disappointment? How could this happen? He was sending me, good morning, good night messages every day, 3 times. And then suddenly he cut me off from everything. I'm gone from his Facebook and WhatsApp, and everything is gone. My God, how did, I'm almost paralyzed by this kind of feeling. So this, we call it as a plant kind of, pattern, because there is a stimulus and a response. Whereas In a mineral pattern, you see, when you go deeper, she will say, you know, he was my whole life, you know, he was my whole structure, he was my whole dream, and the whole thing collapsed. So here was more about structure that she needed, and then the structure was gone. This is a mineral pattern. Whereas in an animal, you will see a very strong sense of competition. You know, how dare he did that to me? Now I will show him. Now I will finish him. Now I will. So it's what he did to me and what I'm going to do to him. So deep within us, there is a pattern which is a pattern of a mineral, plant or animal. And this pattern follows us throughout our life. In every interaction, in every situation, we will perceive and react exactly according to our inbuilt pattern. And this is also the cause of our stress and the cause of our disease. Because imagine if you're competitive all the time, how much stress it can produce. Or if you're so dependent on somebody, how much stress it can produce. Or if you get shocked all the time, how much stress it can produce. So this is the cause of stress, the cause of disease also. So by going into the pattern and identifying which exact kingdom that person belongs and which specific plant, mineral or animal that he needs, we can match it, and that can heal that pattern and make a person more healthy. And for this, in the last 25 years in homeopathy, we have done really extensive research on classifying the kingdoms and the sub-kingdoms and the different, you know, plants and minerals and animals. And this has helped our work a lot and increased the, you know, the predictability and the percentage of our success.
So did I understand that really that any disease that happens to me is only a follow-up of my misunderstandings and my misperceptions?
Well, it is a yes, you are absolutely right. It is not your misunderstanding or your, don't blame yourself in that sense, but it's, you know, the pattern in you colors your perception of things. It's like wearing a yellow colored glasses where everything looks yellow. So if you wear an animal glass, everything looks like a competition for you. Everybody looks like an aggressor to you. Everybody looks like a rival to you. You know, you cannot help it but to see it like that. And it's quite deeply subconscious. You didn't create this. So there's no point blaming yourself for it, but it is very important to be aware of it. This awareness can heal, and the homeopathic medicine can greatly help this healing also.
So it appeared to me that it is all about the frequency that helps to understand that filter we have between our real self and our perception.
Yes, you see, our real self, which is a healthy self, which is a human self, and which can be in the moment as the moment is, and perceive as it is, react appropriately, is somewhat disturbed. You can say it's like a virus in your software, you know. It turns things around and doesn't react as it should because of this kind of contamination, you might say, even by another energy pattern that has somehow taken seat in your being. And that's the reason why each one of us is so specific in the way we perceive and react to reality. It's so predictable. Each one of us is so predictable. You know, it's so predictable that because our pattern guides us and it colors the way we see and, you know, we react.
Well, I think we need to end the interview so that I don't use up too much of your time. It was so interesting to talk to you. Is there any message you want to send out or tell the people who are listening to us? Anything from your heart?
Well, I would like to say something about homeopathy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, there are a lot of people who believe in homeopathy in the world. And homeopathy is very aligned with, you know, holistic treatment, which includes, you know, things like diet, exercise, meditation, inner looking patterns, and all of these things, you know, it includes. And it's a part of this process also, and takes it so much deeper. And the healing effect of homeopathy is very deep and long lasting, because in modern medicine you see treatment that is more symptomatic, more short term, and really doesn't go to the root of the issue. And that's the reason why you keep needing to take the medication lifelong, because it doesn't heal it. The healing can only happen at the deepest level, where our entire organism is involved in the healing, and not just one part or the other part. You know, we are not like a motor car that you can replace parts and make it okay, because we are born as one, we are developed as one, we die as one. And our entire economy, our mind, our nervous system, our immune system, our hormonal system works together like a government that takes care of us, you know. And the only disturbance at that level, as I told you, with our perceptions and reactions, uh, disturbs our economy. And that's exactly where we need to find its healing or its cure, through homeopathy, through awareness, through meditation, through music, through art, through good diet, through all of these things. And I believe that's where we will find, you know, long-lasting healing. And I think more and more people are realizing this with time. However, I must say that there is a very, very strong lobby of people who who ridicule homeopathy for many reasons. They say, for example, that the medicines are too dilute to have any effect. For example, there is nothing in the medicine, so how can it work? Or things like that. Or they say, for example, there is no proof that your medicines work. There are no trials. There is no scientific evidence of its working. And these are the kind of objections that people have, and many governments and in many countries have kind of passed laws that make it very difficult to practice homeopathy also, and things like that. So this is what I would like to address in very short. And two things I would like to say. One is that, you see, the proof of something is not the logic of that thing. You cannot say, because I don't understand how it can work, therefore it doesn't work. This is not logical. If something works, you need to understand how it works, and not the other way around. I don't understand, therefore it simply cannot work, and dismiss it. Number one. Number two, when we talk about proof and scientific proof, there is already a body of evidence through many, many research projects that have demonstrated the efficacy of homeopathy. But I would like to say and emphasize that we are open to more research, and we want collaborative research. Let you and us together, with an open mind, find out whether there is effectiveness in homeopathy or not. Let us conduct those trials according to your standards. We can use the gold standards of medical trial, which is called randomized controlled trials or double blind trials. We are completely open for this. I will tell you a little bit about this COVID thing right now, this pandemic. You see, we have had very good results in COVID cases in America, in Italy, and from every part of the world. Homeopaths are reporting that we have had very good success, extraordinary success in the cases we have treated, in thousands. And also, it has worked very nicely as a preventive in several 100,000 people. In fact, in Cuba, the government itself is giving homeopathy as a preventive medicine. And I believe in a state in Brazil, in St. Catarina, they are considering giving it to the entire population of 2.5 million people. So much they are convinced about its effectiveness. This is what I was told. And we ourselves have given it to several 100,000 people in India, for example. And the Indian government is supportive to a large extent. So what I'm saying is that what I asked for and what all our colleagues asked for is that let us be a part of the treatment of coronavirus with homeopathy, because we have had extraordinary success in earlier epidemics, the Spanish flu, the Cuban leptospirosis epidemic in 2008. These are all published things. So given that kind of experience, we should give it and help people right now. We don't want to sit with our hands tied when we know there is something good we have. And the thing they say is that, we don't know if it will work. My dear friends, I want to tell you, how do we know if it works or not unless you conduct a trial? And what we asked for, this is interesting, let us try homeopathy as an adjuvant therapy. Don't cut off any of your medication. Don't even take a risk. We don't even want you to do that. In a given hospital, take 50 cases, give them homeopathy, 50 cases, continue your conventional medicine. In both cases, continue conventional medicine. Just add the homeopathy in 50 cases in a randomized double-blind way so that nobody knows. And at the end of 2 months, let us see what is the speed of recovery, the development of morbidity and complications, the fatality in the homeopathic group versus the non-homeopathic group. And the results will be clear, you see. It will be done in your hospital, under your nose. And can you imagine that I have requested this right from the topmost people in the government to every hospital I could get hold of, and till now, no hospital would conduct this trial.
Yes,
Fortunately, one hospital is getting ready and we may start, fortunately. But most of the hospitals are not willing to even consider this trial. So how can somebody say that you have no proof and refuse to conduct a trial? This is not good.
It's
and
illogical.
You see, this is what I want to convey to the people, that yes, you see, we are also open. I have been practicing homeopathy 40 years. I have treated several thousands of cases. Grateful patients come back with such good, results. We treat, and there are a lot of open-minded modern medical practitioners, at least in India and many other parts of the world, who actually refer cases to us having seen the results, and we appreciate them and we respect them a lot, and we refer our cases to them when we can't find a solution. So this kind of, open-mindedness and collaboration is in the benefit of our humanity. And this is what I want to ask for. Let's not take sides. Let's not say, homeopathy is good or allopathy or modern medicine is good or bad. No. Let us, as open-minded people, in spite of my 40 years of experience, I'm still willing to be open that homeopathy has no effect. I'm open to that. Come on, let's try. Let's do a trial. I am confident that, you will see the effect because I have seen. Would I be practicing a system for 40 years from morning to midnight if I didn't see one result? What are you talking? You see? And why are in India millions of people wanting to take homeopathy? Millions. And I'm talking not about any class of people. We are talking of the topmost industrialists who can afford any treatment in the world. They want homeopathy. You see? And everybody, politicians, movie stars, right down to the common man, you see. So why they must have had some experience.
Yeah.
Why is it still around after 200 years if it was nonsense? So we are not even saying believe us. We are saying let us do a trial together. Let us collaborate. And if you find it effective, then you start using it. You start recommending it. You publish this. And if it is a failure, we will accept also. So this is the kind of collaboration that we are looking from open-minded people, not people who are bent on proving you wrong, but really open-minded. Let's look and see. And if it is beneficial, let's use it. And this is what we want to see happen. And I hope that, especially this difficult time, will bring this kind of openness also. Because you see, a vaccine is more than 1 year away at least. And homeopathy is right there available under your nose as a preventive. We have given it as a preventive to hundreds of thousands of people in the world right now. And as far as we know, it is effective. For example, in a city in India called Pune, the police commissioner gave homeopathic preventive medicine to 9,000 policemen in the front line, the high-risk people. In Brazil and Romania, it was given to thousands of health workers, doctors, and pharmacists. And as far as we know, they are all symptom-free, even after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So why not? Somebody who is doing this and who is showing this, try it. Let's have controlled studies. Don't take our word. This is my, prayer or request, you can say, that it's such a beautiful science and it has so much promise, especially in cases where modern medicine has very little to offer. You see, for example, in autoimmune disorders, for example, in allergies, for example, asthmas and eczemas and arthritis and multiple sclerosis and all kinds of problems, even a simple wart, what can you do with modern medicine? You have to remove it, you have to cauterize. What happens if you get 10 warts? I have seen warts go with homeopathy again and again and again. We have photographs and evidence and testimonials of people to say that. But again, you see, a single case or even many single cases, the doctors call it anecdotal evidence, that it doesn't count because there is no control group for it. So, and many, yes, they are true. Many conditions are self-limiting. Many conditions have shown spontaneous recovery. Sometimes even cancers, they can go on their own, sometimes in a rare case. So if we say we treated this case and we got a good result, how do you know that this was not a spontaneous remission? Because it can happen. And that's why you need control groups. And we accept this also. We have hundreds of anecdotal evidence, hundreds, thousands, but we still accept that, we need controlled study. But for this, we need cooperation. We need to work together to do that. And open-minded work, I think we can do a lot. And this is my prayer. And that's a message I want to give in the end. But of course, the deeper message is a message of, finding the place of peace within. In spite of all this drama of life, modern medicine, homeopathy, corona, which is, but deep within, there is a place which is quiet, which is peaceful. And my deepest prayer is that all of us find this place.
Thank you. May your words be heard by the right persons.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.